Yeah, this is a video on one of the best ways to trade Forex. I think I touched on this before in one of my videos. Um, Forex doesn't really trend. If we look at a quarterly chart of AUD/JPY or any chart, like before we did in one of my first videos, they don't trend. You look at this one, from 1995. If you invested here, you would have no money, right? Or you would just have a little bit of money today. And so they don't really trend well unless there's some big economic, you know, cataclysmic event that destroys a country or something like that. Um, we had that in the 80s here with the yen crisis, and ever since then it's just been flat since 1995. So if we must trade forex, like some of us are in some prop firms and they only offer forex pairs, the best way is to look at the NR7 or inside bars. For example, let's look at this here, this NR bar, quarterly NR7 or NR inside bars at some support level. So we have one right here on January 2003 and another one in July 2003. So let's go to it. Right, and then you see it's at support here in January, right on the cloud. It broke up, gave us a signal to buy, and now let's see. I'm looking for another type of signal. Anyway, yeah. So we have a signal to enter to buy. But we don't want to refine our entry by going to a small time frame of January. So if we go to a weekly chart to see what we see. We see on the weekly chart, we see lower lows and lower highs. And this yellow box here is the inside bar of that quarterly chart until January. From January to March. That was the quarter. It ended here. And we don't really see anything. We just see the price fell down. MACD was down. And there's actually no divergence anywhere. Right? We don't see anything. No divergence. We have histogram divergence. We have our indicator on the bottom telling us, oh, we are at extreme lows. And we don't get a buy signal on the weekly chart till here. We see we made a higher high on June 2003. So that's from January. That's about 6-7 months. We made a new high here, right? From these two lows to this high, right? And then we had a pullback on the weekly chart, right to the cloud, right at 38% pullback from this low from the March 2023 high to the June 2023, March 23 low to the June 2023 high. We had a retracement of about 38% retracement. I think it's a 38% retracement. Let me measure it again. From this low to this high here. Yeah, that's 50% retracement from there. Yeah, that was a 50% retracement, right? Hit the middle of the weekly band, gave us some engulfing candle here. And our weekly chart here was the range of the weekly bands were hovering over the mid band of the monthly chart. So I'll be wary of that. But what's good about this is that it went flat, came up, and pulled back. And when it pulled back, the weekly band squeezed more, and you can see the weekly band was over the middle monthly band. And this is where I was looking at this. I started to look at this and say, okay, great. We're above the weekly bands are above the mid monthly band. So I moved that and said, good. And then I looked at it further and said, okay, see the price is rejecting this level of support right here. Rejected multiple times and rejected again in October 2023. And then we have these kind of like weird candles here, doji candle. This is where I just started to enter. I entered the candle here. I saw it flat, going consolidating here, turning into a triangle. I said, look, the probability of this going up is higher than it falling down because of the quarterly bounce. So I just entered it here on the daily chart. And zoomed back out to the weekly chart, look for some support. I think my support level was down here somewhere. It was down here somewhere. Let me look at another chart. No, I put in 1% risk. My support was way down here on a weekly chart. So it was far away down here. It was like 90-25. Let's go back to that. So my stop loss was around 90. This level here. That's my stop loss. If you go to the daily chart, you can see it very far away, all the way down here. And I put in the 1% risk. And eventually, the price from here, from that level where we entered, which is about right here, on the daily chart, right around there, just broke out. So another thing is if we go back to that inside bar here, if we go back to the inside bar, we see the lower lows and lower highs, right? And then if we go to a daily chart, sometimes we won't see a pattern on the daily chart or maybe the weekly charts. Like for here, we don't really see a pattern on the weekly chart. We just see price moving up inside the cloud. However, if we go down to a daily chart, we'll see a pattern. And what we see here on the daily chart, what we start to see on the daily chart is something interesting. We see the price on the daily chart. Yes, it breaches above the cloud, and we can see the no man's land is covering the midband of the weekly midband right here. Right, so daily no man's land is covering the weekly midband until we get to May of 2023. So we get in earlier, a different entry here. And a price pullback gave us a wicked daddy pullback and gave us a engulfing candle here. So we would avoid all this. We wouldn't buy this pullback. We wouldn't buy this pullback. We would buy this pullback though. Here I also marked here that this is this would have been a some type of you see the price moving up, some type of cup with handle pattern, right? Because when we pull back up, it pulled back up almost 78%. We measure the high from February 2023 to March 2023, you see the pullback was 78% right around here. That was the pullback, 78%, or near 78%. And then it proceeded to fall down, found support the cloud, and then consolidated between this zone here, between 89 and 92. So consolidated between this zone, this zone, and this, 87 and 50 in that zone. So it just consolidated. And we see we are in the consolidation area because no man's land is covering the weekly, the no man's land of the daily band is covering the weekly mid band right there. Until we get to here, where no man's land is up here, and mid-weekly band is here. And price gave us a engulfing bullish pattern here, right? Signaling that, hey, we're going to go up finally, but we're not, so that finally, if you weren't sure, price broke through this resistance and came up to here. That will be the breakout right here. If you don't want to risk entering early, this is the entry right here, because we have the handle, we have the cup, we have the handle, and then we have the breakout. It didn't break out here, it almost break out. That will be, if risky, it will be an early entry. This was the breakout here of the handle and the high here. So this would be the entry right here. Very clear entry. And our target would be the 618 area here. This will be our target. This will be our entry or later entry. And if we wait for the breakout, we might as well just put our stop line below here and target the high there. And that would give us a 1.5, 1.6 reward, this ratio. Finally, so that's the end of the daily chart. No more, because it's 4x. I don't expect it to continue up after that, because it probably will mean revert, and it did mean revert, right? Revert back to the mean here again. But in the weekly chart, we can see that we have a bad breakout and pullback, right? And consolidated. And then we talked about this one before. And this whole thing was an inside bar, breakout of the inside bar, pull back to the inside bar, and then breakout again. Right? And so we're breaking out of the inside, that quarter of the inside bar right now, this minute. So that's one way we can handle trading Forex. Looking for NR7 bars on the quarterly chart, waiting for the breakout. Let's take a look at this one here. We'll take a look at this one. And probably we see the price retrace it fell down from here, and it retraced about 618. 78% in the cloud. So we know that when it retraces this level, it's going to find some resistance here. So April 2021 was the beginning of the quarter, and the end of that bar was around July 2021. So let's go to the weekly chart, see what we see on 2021, which is right here. And I see absolutely nothing. Maybe let's see if we see some divergence. There's some divergence here. There's divergence here on the weekly chart. That's about it. Price just comes up here. Let's see if we see anything. Making higher highs and higher lows here. Highs and higher lows until here. Right here was the low point. Here, there's another high here. There's a high here, and then the price came down and breached this low here. And then it retraced, pulled back, and fell down. So this is a head and shoulders pattern here. What I should have done is mark the quarterly chart. Hold on. Right, the end of the pattern is July 2021. So let's see. July 2021 will be right here. June and then July. So this whole thing, we would see a head and shoulders pattern forming right here. Then we see the pullback on June, and then the next week, at the end of June, we would see the we would be entering here because we would go short here on the pullback. They pull back about 50%. Let's see how that looks like on a daily chart. Because it did fall down through and went into the trend zone, GTAS zone, the trend zone of the weekly chart, pulled back to the mid band and then fell down, right? And this would have been our target down here at 79.89 or 70 or 80. Let's look at on a daily chart. See what we see. There it is. So we see divergence on the weekly chart. We see divergence on the daily chart too. And we marked on the weekly chart where our lows were. Let's put in the guppies here. Take off the guppy quick. And we see these weekly lows here. Price came here on the daily chart. We can see price just collapse down, pull back up here on June 24th. And we're waiting for the end of the week, right? End of that week. We see that the quarter is almost over on July 28th, 29, July 1st. So July 1st is the end of the quarter. We see that this was an inside bar or NR4, NR7. So we would do the same thing. We would draw our fibs from the high to the low here. The low here. And price fell down. So what we want is we have a signal. The good thing about this is that we can enter this level here. We can enter here, right? Because it's already falling down at the end of the, actually, we were looking at it here. We were looking at the retracement up, right? And on this day here, July 1st, you see the price somehow rejected this level and started retracing up. So we can put an order at this level here, this whole level here, 618 to 38% level. This just level here, this zone here, it doesn't matter. So we would just enter anywhere there because the cloud has resistance here. We have the weekly band here. And if you're worried that this daily no man's land is covering the weekly level band, weekly mid band, the exception to ignore that is when the price gives us a signal and goes into the GTAD, goes into a double GTAD zone, right, of two GTAD zones. And it did that here, this bar right here. The price got rejected. If we were scared to just take the short here, I would be. Price closed below the GTAD zone of the daily and the weekly right here, this bar here. So that will be an entry here, right? Our stop and you know, because of that, our stop loss can be, you know, somewhere here at this high or the cloud or above the cloud, just right here. Doesn't have to go above the high in this case. And we can aim for that this level here, 127% level. I mean, it does go further than that, but you know, I can't really predict how far it's going to go. But you know, in this case, it went all the way to 618, right? 115. But you know, I think 90.90 is pretty good. It's a good deal, you know. So that would have been a trade here. And you see, it doesn't happen often. These trades don't happen often, but they seem to be profitable when they happen, when we get them, and they occur at support or resistance. Here's one not at support or resistance. We don't even know where it's at. What's going on? This is an NR. I think NR. This will be NR4 because it's blue. What we want is we see the price falling, and so we would want to short it somehow. Let's see what's happening here. So it appears NR4. Then we're looking at the next bar down here. So maybe we want to, because it's in no man's land, because it's in the trend zone of the quarterly chart, maybe we want to take it. Now, this is going back to 2019. See what we see on the weekly chart. I mean, I don't see anything on the weekly chart. Absolutely nothing. No trade. Right. That was the end of the. This is the prices fell down, and it's pulling back. It's pulling back. It pulled back for several weeks, just flat, right, like that. So it's like A, B, C. Let's see, move it A, B, C from August to December. It just went up. Just we have a wicked daddy pullback. It pulled back up here to some resistance and the cloud resistance. Actually, looks like it made a new high. Right, found resistance here. Made a new high, and then started to fall down after it went resistance. So, I mean, this is not a trade, right? If we go to the daily chart, let's see what we see on in around that 2019. Right? All we see is higher highs and higher lows. What's happening below the cloud, and then there's resistance here when that happened. Again, it broke below the Kijun on the weekly chart, pull back. So this is something to look at. If we're confused here, if it did make a new high, what we want to see is a rejection when it falls back down. But that didn't happen. Instead, it broke below this Kijun here, and then retraced up. So let's see what happens on a daily chart. On a daily chart, what do we see? We see price falls down, and then starts to consolidate. Right? We don't see anything. Then this is the end of the quarter here, and it doesn't seem like anything here. Like I don't see anything, any pattern, nothing, except the price did make a new high, pull back down, and then breach the cloud here, and maybe we would enter that, but let's see. Yeah, we would enter that. We would enter this breakout. No, we wouldn't because the cross of the Kijun and Tenkin was here, so we went into this breakout. We would just be watching this here, watching this, and then it retraces here. So maybe this is not a trade yet. Here we go. This is going to be a good trade here, right? Because it pulled back, it went up, pulled back down. 50% level, and then we can enter here and go for this high here. So it did go up there eventually, and then it fell down to the cloud. And now I wouldn't know what to do. I'll be like, man, what do I do now? So this was the NR7, NR4 bar, right? And then I'll be wondering what to do. We get this big movement down. I think on a weekly chart, there was a big move down on the weekly chart. And that move down, it looked just like some type of a bearish crown pattern, right? Bearish crown pattern. Here was one. That was a bearish crown pattern. But we can even go further, we can extend it further down below the cloud since it went down there like that. And we got a signal down. And price looks like it retraced up to about 38%. No, 50%. It went 50%. I'm touching that. And it was getting rejected by the Kijun. So this would be a trade. This definitely would be a trade. We have lower lows and lower highs, right? And then a pullback. So we would want to trade this. We wouldn't probably get the highest high, but hey, we would probably get somewhere here, put a stop above the 78% level, above the cloud level, near this high here, and go for this low here, this 27% level here, and we get it. And it keeps on going. Jeez. Right? Really keeps on going. You see, we don't know how far it's going to go. We went 5 times our profit target level. Jeez. If we were looking at on the weekly chart, maybe our target would be further away. Let's see. The weekly chart, this would be the low here. Yeah, we would aim for the same target. Right? That will be the target right there. You should aim for it. Yeah. So our target will be here, right? We I'm happy with that, right? One year, about 1%. Right? So it seems to me that looking at these NR7, NR4 bars or inside bars, it prepares us for what's to come. It gives us some chance to into the market, extract a profit from the market, and it gives us if we wait for a pattern or breakouts. That's what it seems to me. The picture here. If we look at another market, let's say the market I'm looking at is GBP CAD. It was here, April 2023. Here. And if we go to a weekly chart, you see higher highs and higher lows. This was the end here on the weekly chart. So I think we see nothing except higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows on the weekly chart. And nothing else. Just higher highs and higher lows. This was the end of the trade here. July 23rd. Let's see if we see on a daily chart. On a daily chart, what we see is a double wave down, a new high, pull back, and then the breakout right here. That was a breakout right here. We wouldn't trade this breakout based on the Ichimoku breakout. However, this was a 26, 27. Nope, we wouldn't trade this breakout. However, this was a crown pattern, so we would trade that. And it broke above the cloud. And if we have the guppy turned color, that would be great. Guppy even turned color. So that is a confirmation to enter this trade here on this month. So we enter this trade, put a stop loss under the low. In this case, under this low here, because we're already going up. And go for here, 0.8% and 0.8 reward right here. That will be our profit target right there. Okay. And eventually price came down and fell down. I was watching this and I didn't participate in it until I started to see here, started to see the pullback on the daily chart. Fortunately, the daily chart went above the cloud. Um, I got out because I don't see it moving down. So I thought it would move down here. Instead, the price came up and up here, like up here. It didn't fall down on the weekly chart. So what I'm waiting for now, um, what I'm waiting for now with GP CAD is some type of signal to tell me to short. And we do get hidden bearish divergence. And we got hidden bearish divergence here. We have extremes on our indicator here. So we hit a bearish divergence. And all we need is for price to fall down. It did almost look like it was about to fall down, but now it's in the cloud. Um, I'm still waiting. Maybe it's just short again. This was my sell zone. Now I have to wait for a weekly chart, a weekly candle or something. Weekly rejection. It went to the key June. It didn't reject the key June. It just went right through the key June the next week. Now all we need is just some type of rejection to just fall. That this thing just falls down here. So if next week the price just starts to fall down and closes down below the key June here and the tanking here, it just closes below. I'm entering. It's a short. It's a short signal. It's a bearish head and shoulders pattern here. So I will be entering there short. So that's about it. We had this quarterly. I should have marked it. The quarterly level was from here, this low to this high, and then it broke above it, right? Yeah, that was our quarterly level. Price kind of broke above it. Broke above it a little bit and came down below it, and then it's it's haywire. Go to a weekly chart. Yeah. So price broke. We traded a head and shoulders pattern. Price broke above it and hit our target on a daily chart. Right now we're on the weekly chart. It broke below it. Pull back. We pull back. And right now we're just waiting for some type of signal on the weekly chart to tell us to short. It's been 3 weeks up. So the third week probably will be down because there's too many weeks already. 3 weeks up. Maybe the third week we're going to have this wave here. This X. I have a WXY wave down because the daily chart, this ABC down was an extended wave. So we have a wave up, this ABC up. You can see here when we are ABC up, this equal legs up is inside equal legs right now. It's in the zone to sell. And our stop loss would technically be up, up here because there's no other resistance besides this level. So that's where our stop losses should be up here, this level. And we're just waiting for a selling opportunity right now. on a weekly chart, weekly basis. See if it falls down. And that's it. I think that I'll stop the video here. Uh, there's nothing else. I tried to short this, but this bar here, this bar, I think that the GBP AUD was going to fall down. It hit resistance, but it's instead it's a shooting star, like a shooting star, right? Three quarters up, shooting star. Like this one, we had a hammer, a long hammer, so it went up. So the shooting star, so maybe it will turn around, and it's at resistance, right? Um, so maybe it will turn around. Don't know. And I was hoping that this would be some type of head and shoulders pattern. It fell down and it went up, and it looks like it was working out. It fell down here. And this was the resistance point. And I did take a short. I did take a short here, and it came to a smaller target. It was a smaller head and shoulders pattern here on the 4-hour chart, and it came up. I just got out because I wanted to just take small profit, and we'll see what happens next week. Maybe this will come up and find resistance. I don't know. But what's interesting on the daily chart is that um, the daily no man's land is no longer inside covering the weekly midband. And that's why I didn't take the short here. That's why I entered late here. When I saw that, I just entered late. Um, so maybe this is some profit taking here. Maybe I will just re-enter GBP AUD, and GBP will start falling next week. It seems that way. Maybe there's going to be a little retracement up, hit this Kijun level here. Maybe the Kijun and the Tenkan will twist, giving us a sell signal, and this will be a pullback. We'll find out next week. Right? Maybe something like hiss and then down, and then we'll have a twist of the Tenkan and Kijun there. So that's what it seems to be going on right now. Or a complete collapse next week down, and I will just join the bears. So that's Forex. Forex is really difficult. Difficult in stocks. More difficult than stocks. So, this is Rocketman over out.